Should Kwesi Adofo-Mensah hit up Denver Broncos GM George Paton? Good morning, George. What's that? Oh, my bad. I just got back from London. Plus, my kids, they watch a ton of Peppa Pig. This is all very confusing to me. Give me a couple of days. I'll be back to normal. George Paton, I noticed that your team is in the unfortunate circumstance losing Javonte Williams off a torn ACL. Can I interest you in running back Alexander Mattison? So the Broncos, they need a running back, and you could make the argument that they'll be just fine with Melvin Gordon as a starter. Unfortunately, he's not the same guy that he was with the Chargers. So far through the first 4 games of this season, he has 4 fumbles. Not ideal. Broncos should be exploring the trade market. Now enter Alexander Mattison, who's 24 years old. He has the experience that you want from a running back needing to take over as a starter. Last year, 2021, started 4 games in place of Dalvin Cook. He's on the last year of his rookie deal, so if Javonte Williams does return, you can wipe your hands clean of that. It makes all the sense in the world for this trade to happen. The question then becomes, if you're the Vikings, what do you ask for compensation-wise? In the sense of, if the Vikings simply keep Mattison and let him walk away in free agency, compensatory picks, you're looking at anywhere between a 3rd and a 7th round pick. At first, I'm like, you know what? The Vikings, they sure as hell need a tight end. Now, their rookie, the Denver Broncos, their rookie, Greg Dulcich, on IR, he's expected to return in week 5. After that, you've got Eric Saubert, Albert O, and Eric Tomlinson, which is on par with what the Vikings have at tight end right now. My offer to Denver is to cover the tracks in the case that the comp pick falls below the highest possibility. Denver, you can have the services of Alexander Mattison for a 3rd round pick. And Maybe George Paton laughs hysterically and say, dude, you are crazy. But here's the reality of Denver right now. You're 2-2, tied with the Chargers, 1 game behind Kansas City for the AFC West lead. After Thursday Night Football versus the Colts the following week, you've got your first game against the Chargers, divisional opponent. Stakes are high. And I know you're not feeling super confident in your $165 million guaranteed quarterback, who right now is completing just 61% of his passes and is on pace for 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Russell Wilson needs a dependable run game to have a shot at the division, or worst case, to do something in the playoffs. And that's even if you make it into the playoffs. And to be honest, the Broncos are in such an emergency situation that I'd make a push for a 2nd round pick. And even if you laugh, oh, too rich for your blood? Okay, cool. Thought I'd ask. No sweat off my back. Have a good day. Are you really willing to risk a disaster of a season after the Russell Wilson contract, all the hype, Broncos country, let's ride? Last made the playoffs in 2015, but I know how much immense pressure your organization is under to have a successful season. You want to risk having eggs on your face? Okay, fine. Pretend that you don't care. I know how desperate you are. If I'm the Vikings, I absolutely call the Broncos to inquire. It makes too much sense that it be foolish not to do it. Trade deadline is November 1st. We'll see what happens. Comments from last video. Bennett Dean. Randy, thoughts on what the Vikings need to do to generate pressure outside of playing Hunter with his hand in the dirt? Seems like Z is the only one creating pressure. Well, to be honest, Bennett, I feel like Danielle Hunter being up front, that will make a world of a difference alone, to where the offensive linemen, they already have to account for Danielle Hunter, but there's a difference between loading up in space to generate pressure and then getting the initial clash off the snap of the ball. Danielle Hunter, I just feel like that's where he's at his best, because certainly it's not working out as an outside linebacker in the 3-4, but I think that would make a difference enough. But as far as what else you can do beyond that, I was very impressed with DJ Wonnum in the Saints game on Sunday, because coming out of South Carolina, I compared him to Anthony Barr, that he has trouble shedding blocks. And on Sunday, he set the edge. He broke free from blocks, ripped through them. He might be ready to take over as a starting 3-4 outside linebacker. Next up, RDA Midwest says, hey, Boyd is every bit as much entitled to his opinions of critics as they are entitled to trash their favorite team. I'm with Chris on this. Well, certainly Chris Boyd is entitled to his opinion, just like we are, including myself. Now, my opinion on what Chris Boyd did, shitting on the fans on Twitter, telling them to shut the fuck up, he shouldn't have done that. That was so stupid. It's one thing to have a disagreement and say, hey, this is where we differ. We're still 3-1. We have time to figure things out. Maybe chill out a little bit. That's one thing. It's a completely different situation when you tell fans to shut the fuck up. As a business owner myself, if an employee cusses out a customer, hey, you should shut the fuck up, I would fire them on the spot. I'm not saying that Chris Boyd should be fired, but me, I would do that in the sense of I'm depending on these paying customers to be repeat customers. You're as good as gone. Furthermore, let's say you go to Pizza Hut, you order a large pepperoni pizza. You end up waiting for 2.5 hours. The pizza finally comes out. It's all cold. You go up to the front desk. Hey man, we have a problem here. The pizza's cold. I had to wait so long. Why didn't you tell me in the first place? And they respond with, well, the pizza came out right. You should shut the fuck up. Last comment is by Sam Sneed. New staff, new systems. Good to be 3-1. Could it be worse? Sure, but it could be better too. Defense needs a lot of improvement. This right here, Sam, I am 100% with you on, in the sense that yes, we are 3-1 and that's great. There are some things that we need to work on if you want to keep this same rate of success, 3-1 right now. If you want to keep up the same rate as the season goes on, here are some things that we need to adjust, including the defense. So Chris Boyd, if you want to tell fans to shut the fuck up, how about you do what it needs to take to get your ass out on the field on defense more than 1% of the time? This whole idea that, well, we're 3-1, that's all that matters, nothing else needs to be talked about, you should shut the fuck up, is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Next video is tomorrow. We'll see you then.